Good morning. I'm Chuck Bass, and today we're going to find out what this sound is. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Week 16 Start or Stream with me, your host, Chuck Bass. We have made it through 16 weeks of the fantasy football season. It's been awful, unbearable, one of the worst of all time. Cannot stand it. Can't wait for it to be over. But here we are doing live shows for you, answering those questions. And really just, you're going to see some great acting today because I'm going to be enthused. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to be happy for you guys, even though I've just absolutely died a fantasy death on the inside. I've only got a few teams playing today, and let's just say they all got Puka Nakuit. So enough of that. Enough of the bad stuff. We'll have a special guest appearance here soon, I believe, which I'm very excited about. One of our favorite cameos, a reoccurring guest that we have weekly on this show. For anybody who's new here today, of the 37 of you that are up at 7:55 looking for start sit answers, I love you. I'm here for you. As always, I'll be giving you the player profiler rankings on everybody, my personal spin, and then I don't know what the universe is sending to me today. So wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, and let's get into it. Pumpkin Escobar, first in line with the Disney Fast Pass. Morning, Chuck. Good morning to you. You keep me going. Sit two. Oh, here we go. So this is what I love. Not starts. We're doing sits, because there's a lot of sit-worthy guys this week between injuries, committees, guys coming back from injury, weather, voting record, tax record. But before we get to that, Pumpkin Escobar, maybe you're going to be the lucky one today. The guest appearance is here. Come on, let's get that wrist nice and proud. Yeah. Let's see if we have a lovely mug from the lovely Mrs. Bass. Love you, babe. She's feeling great today. Peace. I got a peace sign. Nice. She's beautiful, and she loves you guys almost as much as I do. Actually, she hates you guys. She hates you guys, and she hates all of this. No, I'm just kidding. She's dominating. She's in our family league. She's about to go on to the finals and potentially win back-to-back leagues. Could you imagine being married to a woman that you compete with who wins back-to-back fantasy football championships? Let's get back to the start sits. All right. You're looking for Michael Wilson, Jacoby Myers, Marion Hampton, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Jalen Waddle. Sit to full PPR. Well, the gut instinct here, as I'm sure we're all feeling, is to sit Waddle. I would feel like sitting Waddle even with Tua. We got Quinn Ewers in there. Our Waddle ranking has dropped dramatically. He was floating around wide receiver 10 previous weeks. He's down to wide receiver 27. I know he takes on the lowly Bengals, but the Bengals have been very good against opposing wide receivers. It's the tight end group that is, it's the tight end coverage that has sank their seasonal passing EPA, seasonal passing success rate, all that jazz. So I'm definitely sitting Waddle. And then we've got Wan'Dale taking on Minnesota. Minnesota has been ice against opposing wide receivers as well, specifically. So let's go Waddle. Let's go Wan'Dale. Feel good about Michael Wilson from a 8-target standpoint, even with Marvin Harrison playing. That's going to be a fun shootout. The Michael Wilson ranking for you guys this week, I know you're going to be curious about it. It's going to be in a lot of these. He's our wide receiver 12. He's projected 13.9 full PPR points. He's got the 10th easiest matchup, and the implied point total for the Cardinals right now is 22.5. So Trey McBride touchdown, Michael Wilson touchdown. Hell, let's get a Marvin Harrison Jr. touchdown in there as well. And that shoots up a bunch if Marvin Harrison, they decide to ice him. And lastly, sit one, George Pickens, Mike Evans, Michael Wilson, RJ Harvey, Aaron Jones, Marion Hampton. Thank you very much, and good luck today. I love it, man. You're dealing with the mean streets just like I am. Aaron Jones is he going to be down? He's RB 24. He does have the second easiest matchup of anybody taking on the lowly New York Giants, 23.5 implied point total for the Vikings there. That was kind of where my gut was going. You got a really nice matchup for Hampton as well, who has been in that timeshare. So that's a tough one. Not sitting Evans. Pickens is kind of what I'm looking at here. Taking on the Chargers, the number one most difficult matchup of any of these guys, of any wide receiver today, that's going to be. The Chargers have been just bonkers against opposing wide receivers. Shutting shit down. Pickens has been ass in a bag. He's been killing me. Been a source for a lot of my pain. 25.5 implied points for the Cowboys. So they do think they're going to score a lot there. You're playing in the playoffs. You've got some other guys that have some high floor there. I'm going to go with Aaron Jones or George Pickens. My gut says George Pickens, though. Actually, my gut says Aaron Jones. I take that back. It's indigestion. Could be the crab cakes. Pitts or Bowers. I'd monitor the Drake London situation here. Pitts is our tight end 3 on the week. Bowers is pretty far down there, tight end 13. I'm probably still going Pitts. Ride the wave coming off 50 points. You can't put that back in the box. Dynasty Avengers. Jacoby or Lamar, 6-point passing touchdowns. Lamar QB6 on the week. Jacoby QB9, and I agree with that. I think the Patriots defense has fallen off. They're injured, all kinds of stuff going on. You know, Mike Vrabel's out gambling at Encore almost every night. And then Jacoby Brissett, the Falcons have been up and down against the pass. You know, he's going to sling it a lot. He has 56 more dropbacks than any other quarterback. So I would still go for Lamar for floor and for ceiling here. I think he's coming back into form. Rodgers or Shuck. This is hilarious. God, I love fantasy football. Tyler Shuck, quarterback 18 on the week. He's projected 16 points. Aaron Rodgers. Oh, are you that far down? Where is A-Rod? He's just a couple spots behind him, taking on Detroit. 16.2. Fifth easiest matchup for Aaron. I like that. Let's see here. We're looking at what's the implied point. I would go. Let's do this. Let's do Tyler Shuck for floor because you're going to get some rushing in there, and he's got a decent matchup against the Jets. Aaron Rodgers for ceiling. He's going to have to pass a lot against Detroit. He will have no chance. This is inside in a dome. He's got the 5th easiest matchup. The Lions shut down, do everything they can to shut down the run. They sell out to stop the run. That is, it's really their only healthy unit and their only capable unit. They get diced up in the passing game. So let's go with Shuck there. Chuck Bass is going to fuck around. I'm going to fuck around and find out. Lamb or JMO. This is a fun one because we don't really usually get these top tier guys. So I love that you're in the situation. Lamb is going to be our wide receiver 5 on the week. Just like Pickens, he's got that brutal matchup, but Lamb is a little bit more, what's the term I'm looking here? He's a little less susceptible to the kryptonite that Pickens is, especially with his chemistry with Dak. Jameson Williams, 4th easiest matchup. So you're talking about other ends of the spectrum for a passing offense that is going one direction, the other one's going the other. I'm probably going with, I got to find a way to weasel my way out of this one, man. You put me in a tight spot, Henry. Let's say Lamb for floor, and let's go Jameson Williams for ceiling. That feels like a nice little way to, eel my way out of a very difficult question. Shakir or Ibuka and PPR already starting Evans in the same lineup, down big against Puka. Yeah, guys, Baker Mayfield is hurt. He's been playing hurt for about 7 weeks now, and you can tell he's bailing out of the pocket quickly, trying to do that Baker run up the middle that we know he's capable of doing, but it's just coming at the cost of passing production. Mike Evans come back, and it's just a whole new ball game. So if you're going, you already went against Puka, you need ceiling, right? I don't think you're going to get ceiling with Ibuka with this full complement of weapons. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Kate Otten, McMillan's back. I think it's going to be a little just too much spreading the ball around, if that even happens at all. And meanwhile, you've got Khalil Shakir, who does kind of pop up occasionally. Where are you, Khalil? You got to be in that. Oh, man, he's way down there. Wide receiver 46 taking on the Browns. That's brutal. Only 9.1 full PPR points, the 4th most difficult matchup. But man, I'll be honest with you guys. The Browns defense, every time I see the screen, they're getting dunked on by guys who are of no known value. So I'm not as threatened by that matchup as some others might be. Bills still pushing for that 1 seed, looking good. So I'll go for Shakir here. Especially that mold of that slot interior guy that can get yards after the catch. That's a little bit of a weakness for this Browns passing attack. So let's go with Shakir there, because I just think the Ibuka thing, man, there's not a lot of ceiling there, and you need ceiling. So let's get Shakir in your lineups. Good morning. Full PPR flex, start one. Michael Carter. We're going to see a lot of Michael Carter today. I can feel it. Zay Flowers, T. Higgins, projected 10-point favorite, even with Puka dropping 45. Nice. That means you've been staying strong. You've been working it, feeling the flow. Let's see here. You need to start one of these guys. I like Zay Flowers. I like this matchup for Flowers. If he does draw Christian Gonzalez, that could be a problem because Gonzalez has like a foot on him, I think. 18th most difficult matchup, but you're talking about 25.5 Vegas point total for the Ravens, which has got to be top 2, top 3 this week. I see the Bengals have a high one. The Lions have a high one. Yeah, and so that's you want to be a part of that game. It looks like Vegas wants you to be a part of that game. I don't love the Michael Carter stuff. They're going to have DeMarcado mixed in there as well. Just not a lot of fun there. You're looking for, because Zay is going to give you floor. Even if he's not scoring touchdowns, he's way up there in receiving yards. So I like that. However, if T. Higgins plays, you have to play T. Higgins. It's just the way she goes, boys. Great matchup. They've been just dominant all year. So I would go Higgins if he plays. If he doesn't play, let's get Zay Flowers in there. Good morning to all you guys. Good morning to all of you. I'm happy to have you here. We got a long day ahead of us full of all kinds of nonsense. We're going to start it off on the right foot. We're going to start it off right now. So we got Franklin, BTJ, or Tyler Warren. Ooh, man. This is a I got to play a clip to get out of this one, man.
Why are you fucking with me? Why are you fucking with me? Why are you fucking with me? Huh?
Man, Tyler Warren just sold out Phillip Rivers last week, dropped 3 or 4 passes, could have had a decent week. Instead, it was what a lot of us were afraid of. Brian Thomas Jr. coming back alive. We called that one last week. Tough matchup, taking on Denver. He's a big physical freak, but so is Patrick Surtain. And then, of course, you're looking at Troy Franklin, the guy who I don't think I've played Troy Franklin one time this year, but I've had him on almost every team at certain points. He gets Jacksonville, who's playing nice too. So let's go BTJ for ceiling, and let's go Warren for floor. Warren has a nice matchup, another week with Rivers. He was getting the targets. 10th easiest matchup for Warren, taking on the 49ers defense, which is, I feel like if my mom hadn't married a slightly Jewish man, I might have been able to grow into somebody who's capable of playing for the San Francisco 49ers defense and playing under Robert Saleh. Now, I myself am not Jewish, but just that, that athletic kind of, you know what? I don't want to get into Puka Nacua territory here. All right. So let's just move on to the next one. Got a tricky one. Jacobs or Lamar. Yeah, I think we might have covered this, but I'm going with Lamar here. He's not really super scrambling as much. He's still trying to, win games as a passer. I know he had that touchdownless streak, but I think that kind of comes, he's trending towards going into 2026 with some momentum. So let's go with Lamar there. Good matchup, high floor, high ceiling. Tyrone Tracy or Sutton in the flex here. Tracy looking good last week, 2 touchdown game, tough matchup against the Vikings. Brian Flores defense coming on hot at the wrong time. Where was this shit all year? Brian Flores, you really effed me. 14.2 full PPR points for Tyrone Tracy. Now you compare that to Sutton, who's playing decent as well. Wide receiver 18. Wow, did I see that? These guys are basically ranked the same at their position. However, you have 13.5 for Sutton, which is just a little bit less than Tyrone Tracy taking on the Jags. So I'll go Tracy for floor because I think he's going to get the volume, and then Sutton for ceiling because, he could have 18 points in any single game the way Bo Nix is playing. So let's go with that. Big Lou for 2 pop it in here wants to know 2 wide receiver, 2 flex. Okay, guys, I struggle with these because I had some old fashions last night. I had a Negroni last night and didn't sleep well. I was up late watching one of the worst games I've ever seen in my life. A quick little moment here. There was a moment where the waitress last night was like, I'm watching the game on the bar behind everybody, and Chris Rodriguez scores a touchdown, and I really needed that, which tells you what the state of I'm at. And of course, it's like while the waitress is telling us some like sad part of her story, and I just hit him with like, oh, and when that happens, you have to play it off like, oh, these crab cakes. I'm sorry. It just really got me there. Also, when the waitresses talk to you while the food is on the table, enough of that. All right, can we move on from that, please? That'd be great. All right. Marvin Harrison Jr., Wandale, A.D. Mitchell, Ibuka, Derrick Henry, Jawan Johnson, Jordan Mason, Estime, Coker, QJ, Johnny Hopkins, Sloan Kettering. Let's see here. We're getting Henry in the lineup. We're getting Estime in the lineup. I think Estime looked decent. We're getting Marvin Harrison in if he plays. And then we're getting Wandale in as well. I don't think the A.D. Mitchell stuff is going to hold out. Ibuka, too much wishy-washy. Jawan Johnson, decent, but I think Shuck's spreading the ball around a lot. Jordan Mason, I really like. So if there's no Aaron Jones for whatever reason, of course, but Jordan Mason, just not enough volume. Coker, not enough target volume. And QJ, we're out on QJ. All right. Any DST stick out? Lions, Ravens, Falcons. Thank you. I'll just give you some of the higher rankings on this one here because we do defensive rankings over at Player Profiler, kicker rankings, flex rankings, celebrity body rankings, male and female, whatever you're into. We've got all that stuff. Let's see here. You're looking at Lions, Titans, Ravens. Lions are interesting if you think that they could put pressure on Rodgers, get some sacks, keep the point total low. I think that's certainly possible. Titans front's playing pretty decent. They're taking on KC this week. Gardner Minshew. They're going to be our 12th ranked defense. And then Ravens. Ravens, they do have their full complement of players, but I would really be skeptical playing anybody against this Patriot offense. I just don't think you're going to get a lot of turnovers or a lot of sacks. I mean, you could get some sacks if if Drake May is not fully focused with his wife sitting basically courtside at Celtics games, looking directly in the camera. Is Ann Michael becoming too much of a celebrity for this Drake May thing to be going on here? I would consider the Lions. I think the Lions could be, Aiden Hutchinson takeover game could be fun. Michael Wilson or Michael Carter at the flex. The mayor is in tough position right now. He's got a couple of Michaels. They're playing in Arizona. Michael Wilson, Michael Carter. What do you do with guys like this? What do you do with guys that were not on anybody's radar back in August, September? I guess Michael Carter did fill in a little bit when the injuries would happen. But for the most part, what the hell, guys? Michael Carter taking on the Falcons, 13th easiest matchup, 13.7 full PPR points. You compare that to Michael Wilson, who is our wide receiver 12 this week. If you guys missed the top of the show, 13.9 full PPR points. I'm riding the Michael Wilson wave. I just don't think that the Arizona run game, if they don't have a decent, capable back, they're able to give you much. They were doing it with Connor. They were going to try and do it with Benson. And it's just a real step down to like Zonovan Knight, to Michael Carter, Amari DiMarcado, Dino Spumoni, all these guys. So I would go Michael Carter there. I think he gives you high floor and high ceiling. Good morning, Jeff. Finally, Jeff showing up. Chuck, it's down to the wire. It is down to the wire. PPR projected to win by 3, start 2. There's nothing worse than being projected. If I'm not projected to win by 21, I'm sweating. I'm sweating through Alo tracksuits. I'm sweating through Abercrombie and Fitch Buccaneers design T-shirts. I'm sweating through whitey tighties, and sometimes I'm sweating through nothing. Projected to win by 3, start 2. Michael Wilson, Breece Hall, Ted McMillan. Breece Hall, one of the worst picks of the year, and not for his own fault, just a bad team with nowhere to go. It's like the Dennis Reynolds. There's really nowhere to go. Ted McMillan had a moment, but he's fallen off, and once again, not for his own fault. He's just on a passing offense that just can't get it done. Tetaroa McMillan is our wide receiver 28 on the week, taking on the Buccaneers. It's a nice matchup for him. Buccaneers cornerback's injured, also not very good, also inexperienced. Only 21 implied points for the Panthers, which is odd considering the defense they're going on and how decent they were playing prior to last week. So 12.2 points for him. Let's see here. I'm starting 2. Where's the Breece Hall ranking this week? It's probably pretty low. Running back 18, 14.1. They like the matchup against the Saints. We saw what the other running backs for the Panthers were able to do against them last week. I don't know, man. You want to mix a floor and ceiling here. My gut says Michael Wilson and McMillan, but if you really are skeptical of one of those guys, let's say Marvin Harrison Jr. is coming in and you just don't like the 3-way rotation, you can mix Breece Hall in there for the volume and just hope that the matchup is a little bit better. But I'm going with the wide receivers. And I would check the weather in Carolina, but I think all of these games should be not weather affected. Good morning, Goff or Burrow. Which one of these mopey white guys do you want to play at quarterback? You got one guy who looks like he's about to go suey, and the other guy is Goff looking? The body language from Goff is not what I would have wanted, although he is playing well. We got to get some Prozac up to Cincinnati, though. Joe Burrow, quarterback 3 on the week, 20.6 full PPR points, 10th easiest matchup, 26 implied points for the old Cincinnati Bengals there. And then, of course, Jared Goff, a little bit lower, quarterback 7 on the week, taking on the Steelers, 7th easiest matchup, 29 points. So maybe you think this is a Gibbs bounce back game who rights the ship. I always like when very good players have maybe a couple dud games or just at least one dud game because you can probably count on them to bounce back. If Higgins plays, I'm taking Burrow. If he doesn't play, I'm taking Jared Goff. So that's how I feel about that. Are the Cowboys going to pack it in now that they are out of the playoffs? Probably not. I mean, I would expect them to still give us the full complement of what they've been, which is try-hard a-holes. They've got Pickens is in a contract year. Lamb, he usually does. He delivers, and he's also tweeting appropriately. He tweeted out something. What was it the other day? I wish I could find out what it was. If somebody has a second and can go to CeeDee Lamb's Twitter and find me a very milquetoast tweet that he had, and I'll try and throw it up on the screen here. It was just really cute. And it just made me think that, a lot of these receivers, he went to PR tweet school. So I would play your Cowboys and not worry about it. It's a good matchup for them, or no, it's a tough matchup for them. But if you're going to start almost all of them, there's nobody you would bench, I don't think, unless you have an A-lister. We do kicker rankings. So if you want to throw it up there, Tyler, I'll get to you. And let me do a little speed run here so I can catch up to the rest of the chat. So Tyler, if you want to drop a kicker in there, I got you. Good morning. Slashy taking me on in our Ozempic Trials League and looks to be taking home the crown there, which I hate you. You make me sick, you fat sack of crap. All right, good morning, gents. May the odds be in your favor today. And he did have a kicker for me. Gonzalez has feet and double in the pond. Furbin or Abry, I'm up 45. I'm probably still taking the consistency of Fairburn. Where did I do with where'd my player profiler rankings go? Because I download all of them except for the kicker one so I can get us some traffic on the website. The kicker rankings this week, if you're talking about just between these schmucks, Aubrey's number 1, Fairbairn's number 2, 9.5 points for Aubrey, 9.1 for Fairbairn, taking on the Chargers, taking on the Raiders. I'm probably taking Aubrey. If that Chargers defense comes to play, at least we know the Dallas offense can at least get them into, 65-yarder range. So let's go with Aubrey there. Jackson Dart or JJ McCarthy. Wow. Which quarterbacks of these do you want to watch? Games like this are fun because you just get to watch. If you're watching this game on the screen, every possession, your guy's either on the field or he's not. And so it's like an eternal tornado of a seesaw of pain, potentially. I'll probably take in Jackson Dart there just because when you look at what Jackson Dart has done this year, I know the matchup's difficult. You guys can feel the burp coming on in my voice. But Jackson Dart has played very well from a fantasy standpoint against all variety of defenses. So I have no problem starting him. McCarthy is fun coming on, but and it is a great matchup for him, but I just like the floor and the ceiling for Dart. So if you do need like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, I guess McCarthy could give that to you. I don't know if Dart can, but if you really need like 18 points, Dart's going to be your guy there. I need to start 3 of these guys: Kittle, Pickens, Waddle, McConkey, J-Mo. Let's get some J-Mo in there. Let's get some Kittle in there, who's got the 9th easiest matchup this week, taking on the Colts. Big implied point total for the 49ers as well at 26. So I like Kittle there. I like J-Mo. And then those are 2 ceiling guys, right? I think those are ceiling guys. So let's get you a medium. You got 2 rares in there. Let's get you 2 mediums. Let's get you a nice pink center of that fillet. Where is our Ladd McConkey ranking this week? Let's get Ladd McConkey in your lineup. He's got the easiest matchup of any wide receiver this week, taking on the Cowboys. He's going to be our wide receiver 21, so I think he gives you floor ceiling. Justin Herbert, just the talk of the town. Found out yesterday that Madison Beer's phone cover is Justin Herbert's freshman year Oregon picture, something like that. And just all kinds of Christmas presents going on for the Herbo. So let's get those guys: Kittle, McConkey, J-Mo. Would you start Warren over Gainwell or Gainwell over Tracy or Harvey? I don't think I would start them over Tracy. Over Harvey, I would consider, because I just haven't loved what I've seen out of Harvey. He's got the 2nd most difficult matchup this week. 3rd, I apologize. I think he looked like an older prospect that could play right away, but I don't know what the ceiling is for Harvey as a player. He's in a great offense, which is doing a lot of the work for him. He's a capable wide receiver. He can run when the holes are there for him, but I would consider it is a tough matchup though for those Pittsburgh guys. Where are the Pittsburgh guys in our rankings here? We got Warren at RB 27, and where's Chadwick Runs Good? Chadwick Runs Good is at RB 19. So tough matchup. I wouldn't play them over Tracy. I would consider it over Harvey though, just because I think the volume is going to be there for either one of those guys. So let's go. Mark. Good to have you, Mark. Pickens or Michael Wilson, full PPR. Pickens for floor, Wilson for floor, Pickens for ceiling. Tet or Pickens, full PPR. Same thing. Tet for floor, Pickens for ceiling. It's a tough matchup for Pickens. It is. And he's looked bad, smells bad. I don't know if he smells, but like his fantasy stink is bad. His fantasy odor is horrendous. Season-ending player right here. Like all the work you guys put in from September, October, November, thrown out the window because of players like this. And it stinks. All right. I would go Tet there, but I really want to emotionally wreck my opponent this week. He has Evans early in the flex. Can you use your Black Mag voodoo powers to will him into a late scratch to block a replacement? I cannot. I am contractually, emotionally, spiritually, and sexually obligated to always push the Mike Evans train in the right direction. However, I do think your heart's in the right place. Ferg or Waller, I'm going Ferg. I just don't want any part of this Miami Dolphins passing attack today. I know they have a great matchup. I would have preferred Tua, despite all of his Tua-ness. But I just don't know. At Quinn Ewers, I think he's going to be like a Brady Cook, which could be a touchdown or two here. Maybe one of those is rushing, but I can't predict who it's going to go to. I can't predict who the target volume is going to go to. I need, at the very least, I need floor today. And, Waller's 3 or 4 targets was barely floor with Tua. The touchdowns were amazing. He's a boss. I'm not taking anything away from him. God bless him. But I'm taking Ferg there. Do you do kickers? What's their favorite position? I don't understand the question here. I want to. It's probably not your fault. It's probably mine. So if you could maybe reword that, we do kickers. So I can answer that for you. I can absolutely answer that for you. Good morning. Chiefs D or Broncos D? Jaguars not really playing turnover football. So I like Liam Cohen to avoid that taking on the Broncos. They do have a very high, their top 6 defense for us this week, actually the 6th defense. The Chiefs are the 2nd, though. So let's take the Chiefs, who is a defense that's still playing strong despite the offensive woes, taking on the Titans. So let's get them in there. Let's get the Broncos or the Chiefs in there. Half PPR, London or Fannin. This is a fun, spicy one. This is like a 2 a.m. Bourbon Street bar kind of question that you kind of mosey in. Maybe you've had a few hand grenades. You're like, what's going on in there? I'm playing London if he plays. He's our wide receiver 7 on the week, taking on the Cardinals. 25 implied point total for the Falcons. So they think there's going to be lights up in this lights up. Who the hell says lights up? Lights on in this matchup. Compare that to Fannin, who is he's still our tight end 5 on the week. It is a tough matchup. The Bills have given up the least amount of points to tight ends. You do expect the Bills to be up early in this game. Expect a decent amount of probably Quinshon Judkins. So I don't know how much Fannin target volume we get. I know that if London steps on the field, he's going to be 8 to 10 targets. So let's go with London there if he's healthy. He's just one of those guys where I'm not really worried about injury designations once they suit up. Josh Jacobs was doubtful for the game yesterday. He had 10 touches in the first 2 drives, and then he fumbles in the third quarter. Midway through the third quarter, doesn't see the field for the rest of the game, doesn't get ruled out, nothing like that. So you just can't trust it. You just can't trust it. You can't trust the reporting, or you can't be worried about injuries unless it is a guy that just has shown you in the past that he's not capable of playing through injuries. I know that when I have a guy who's questionable, he rotates series. When my opponent has a guy who's questionable, he breaks a single game team record for most snaps. So just something to keep an eye on. Need one tight end flex, Juwan Johnson, Fannin, or Coker. Juwan Johnson, he is going to be our tight end. Ooh, is he that low? Can't be. Couldn't be. Wouldn't be. Shouldn't be. No, my eyes have just got to be broken. Yeah. Tight end 10 on the week, taking on the Jets. It is the 12th most difficult matchup. Decent implied point total for Vegas for the Saints. 22. So they think this could be a 3 touchdown game for the Saints. You think that's Estime? Do you think that's Olave? I don't think we're going to have Vele, right? So I like a little Juwan Johnson there. Do I like him over? Yeah, I think I might even like him over Fannin. Coker I like as well. Coker is not really working with a ton of volume there. He's just being hyper efficient. In case you guys were wondering about Coker, he's going to be our wide receiver 30 this week. 11.1 full PPR points. Pretty middle matchup against Tampa Bay. So you know what? I'll do this. If you need 15 points, which who doesn't, I would go Coker. If you need 10 points, I would go Fannin. If you need 21 points, I would go Juwan Johnson. How's that? How's that for a question that doesn't help anybody? Jackson Dart or T-Law? I'm taking Dart here. Tough matchup for Trevor Lawrence. I know he's been playing well. He had an insane game last week. I don't know if he can have that again. And I think we all know that. And that's not a knock on him. Trevor Lawrence gets the 4th most difficult matchup this week on the road. Tough. tough sledding. I just don't think there will be a ton of passing volume. I don't think there will be a ton of receiving touchdowns. Dart will give you that floor. So let's go with that. All right, pick 2, London, Sutton, Fannin. I'm going London and Sutton. Tight end premium league. Ooh, why you got to be doing that to me? Let's actually go London and Fannin. How about that? Shuck over Dak. Call me crazy. You're not crazy. It's the toughest matchup of the week for Dak. And Shuck is going to give you nice rushing floor, a little RPO, a little deep target or 2 to Chris Olave, maybe even 3, since Chris Olave still leads the NFL in deep targets. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, not crazy at all, Mark. Start 2 wide receivers and flex. Pickens, Justin Jefferson, Michael Wilson, Michael Carter, Worthy. Ooh. Xavier Worthy, the single worst pick in fantasy football this year. I'm calling it. I don't like to call injuries. Injuries are obviously tough picks, but it's not a bad pick. Like, you picked the guy that was on the right. You picked Tucker Kraft. Was that a bad pick? Hell no. Tucker Kraft was going to be the tight end 1. So Xavier Worthy, the single worst pick you could have made this year. However, I don't believe it's your fault. Chiefs did this to us. So let's see. Justin Jefferson is going to be our wide receiver 22 this week. He does have a great matchup. Is this the Jefferson? Is this the kind of game that he steps up and comes back? He did drop a couple balls last week, so I don't think it's all J.J. McCarthy targeting everybody else. I would take Michael Wilson, Justin Jefferson, and George Pickens and just let that fly, Mando. Mando, you know I love your name. Let it fly. Need 1 RB, 1 flex, Irving, Judkins, Evans, Olave. You just need 1. You need 1, 1, 1, right? So Bucky Irving, we haven't talked about him yet today. Let's get the Bucky Irving ranking up here. RB6 on the week, taking on the Panthers. Panthers have been a faucet for running backs. 8th best matchup. 24 implied points for the Buccaneers. Bucky had a tough week last week, but the prior 2 weeks was kind of giving you closer to what you want. I think he gets that today. So let's get Bucky in there. Judkins, nice matchup for the Browns as well. And if Browns are going to do anything, it's going to be through Judkins. So I like both of those guys. So now it comes down to Olave and Evans. Now, it has not been a great year to double dip on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So if you didn't want to do that, I wouldn't blame you. Mike Evans is our wide receiver 17 this week. The Panthers have been decent against the pass. And this is a Olave. There we go. Olave is our wide receiver 9 this week. So both of those guys have below or above average. How am I phrasing this? Below average matchups on a difficult way, right? Mike Evans, 22nd most difficult matchup. Chris Olave, 20th most difficult matchup. The Bucs have a higher implied point total, but I like to double dip. Or I don't like to double dip here. I like Chris Olave, Bucky Irving, Quinshon Judkins. How about that for you? Now watch Mike Evans have like 3 touchdowns. Maybe they are looking for doo-doo kickers. Moody, perhaps. Yeah, if you guys like bad kickers, I would say there's 28 bad kickers in the league. So if you're looking for doo-doo kickers, it's a good day to be you. Do I start Purdy or Herbert? Herbie Hancock has the best matchup. I believe he has his full complement of weapons. Cowboys are very bad, not good. However, Brock Purdy has been hot as hell. QB 10 taking on the Colts. Colts are an okay matchup. 18.3 points for Purdy, 19.5 for Herbert. I'm playing Herbert, but you're not crazy for playing Purdy because the 49ers floor has been very, very high. Broncos defense or Saints defense. Saints are the number 4 defense this week, taking on the Brady Cooks. 8.5 projected points. Let's get the Saints in there. Thought their pass rush looked pretty good last week against Bryce Young as well. Little or Pinheiro? Let's see here. Let's take a little drink, Pooh. Little is our kicker 10 on the week. And Pinheiro is, where are you, Eddie? I can't even find him on here. I don't know. My eyes aren't working. So let's go with Cam Little here because I don't even see Pinheiro in our rankings. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, tight end premium. Need to start 2 of the following. Montgomery, Theo Johnson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Darnell Mooney. Thanks and cheers, Chuck. OGA Curdy, I got you. You are in tight end premium, so the Theo Johnson play feels good. Middling matchup against the Vikings. He's going to be our tight end 11 on the week, 10.4 full PPR points. So that could be, 18 if he plays his cards right. So I like getting that in there. Montgomery is not a name that has been mentioned yet today. David Montgomery. He's on a nice little touchdown streak here. 11th most difficult matchup, taking on the Steelers, who have been pretty decent against the run. No TJ Watt again, but TJ Watt hasn't really been there all year. The highest point total of the week belongs to the Detroit Lions from Vegas, 29. So if you think that could be a Montgomery rushing touchdown, I like that. I don't like Mooney. Marvin Harrison Jr. is okay. So let's get your heart's in the right place. You typed the first two guys first because that's what you're feeling. Let's get that in there and let's feel good about it. I'm playing against a lot of Theo Johnson and David Montgomery today, so that should tell you everything you need to know. Daniel Hovland, 7-7-7-0. Sutton or Ladd in PPR going against Puka. Yeah, you need a big boy game. I think Ladd could give you that big boy game. I really, really do. These are guys with equal floor and ceiling. I do like from a season-long chemistry perspective, I think Sutton has been better with Bo Nix, especially how Bo Nix is playing. But I just think this is going to be a lower scoring game, that Jacksonville Broncos game. I could be dead wrong about that. And if I'm dead wrong about that, I'll drink a beer. I'll take that burden. But I just feel decent about Ladd this week. I don't know what it is, but I feel better about Ladd. Player Profiler will tell you Sutton. I'm telling you Ladd. Playoff Q. Juan Pena, the official Juan Pena. There are a lot of unofficial Juan Penas out there in all variety of platforms. This is the official. Who for my wide receiver 3 and flex spot? Henderson, Addison, Mitchell, Pearsall, Brown, Coker, DK, Jaden Naylor, Slayton. It's a lot of characters there, man. It's a lot of characters, and it's 8:34. Let's have a little coffee. Wide receiver. So I like Henderson. I don't know if you could bench Henderson the way he's playing. 11th easiest matchup, 15.8 full PPR points, 11 RB11 on the week. I don't like Mitchell. I don't like Pearsall. I don't like Brown. I don't love Coker, but I like him over all those guys. DK's having a little bit of fun here. DK's going to be what? Wide receiver 50 on the week, taking on the Chiefs, so maybe not there. Naylor or Slayton. Slayton's kind of a fun, Slayton gets a nice deep target almost every quarter. He's going to be our wide receiver 44 on the week. So let's go Henderson in the flex spot, and let's go. Where's Addison? Where's Addie? Addison is our wide receiver 32. So I'll pull the player profiler parachute here and say Addison and Henderson. How about that for you? Gainwell or Myers? So Chadwick runs good or Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers just got that contract extension. I don't love that. I like guys going into a contract, not just signing one. It's just historically, there's a little bottle service going on this weekend for Jacoby Myers. I'm sure of it, whether it was at his home or not. And as we all know, bottle service is one of the best values you can have out there. So taking on the Broncos, tough matchup. He has been the go-to guy for Trevor Lawrence. He's been basically a wide receiver 1 since they acquired him. So let's go Myers for floor, Gainwell for ceiling. Pick 3, ETN, London, Jettas, or Ladd. I like Ladd. I like London. And then where's the ETN ranking right now? Travis Etienne, that 6 son of a bitch, running back 21. He's got the second most difficult matchup this week of any running back, taking on the Broncos, who we just talked about. 21 implied points for the Jaguars, which means that's pretty low. That's almost 4 to 5 points below almost any week they've had in the last month or so. So, yeah, I feel like it's going to be a Justin Jefferson this week. There is going to ETN is going to be a volume guy, so we do want to have him in there. So let's go ETN, London, and no. ETN, Ladd, Justin Jefferson. We'll have London as the odd man out there and just see what ends up happening. Just because is he going to have a game like that again, like he had against the Buccaneers? Probably not. Okay, Dak or Rodgers, Genty or Estime, Ferguson or Bowers. I'm going with, what's the Dak ranking here? Dak is QB 12. Rodgers is QB 20. So let's get Dak in there. Genty or Estime. Genty is, God bless that, man. Genty's RB 29. Estime is RB 28. Third easiest matchup of the week for Estime. 27th most difficult for Ashton Genty. I'm taking Estime here because I think he's in a significantly better situation. Genty, God bless him. The The Raiders offense is one of the worst offenses of all time, and I just don't want to be a part of any of that. Thank you, Dr. Leo Marvin. I appreciate you checking out the intro. That makes me feel very good. So Dr. Leo Marvin 241, I appreciate that. If you guys want to scroll all the way back to the beginning of the show and watch the 15-second intro, it'd mean a lot to me. And then hop right on back and we'll get to more of these start sits. Super Puku wants to know RJ or Dowdle. Where is Dowdle this week? I haven't had a single Dowdle question. RB25 taking on the Bucks. 9th most easiest matchup. Yeah, when you're not running against Vita Vea, you can get down on this Buccaneers offense. That's how the Panthers have to operate because Bryce Young is one of the worst quarterbacks in the history of modern civilization. So compare that to RJ Harvey, though, who's going to be our RB13 on the week. I have been at odds with the RJ Harvey rankings all season long, and he just continues to eke out his projections. But the volume has just not been a fun thing for me to watch. It is a difficult matchup. RJ Harvey actually has the 3rd most difficult matchup this week. And I just want to highlight real quick here, his volume has been strong, but his efficiency has been awful. So what happens when one of these efficiency games isn't bailed out by a touchdown like it might not be today against the Jaguars? So you're talking about two guys that I think are having close, similar volume, and one of them has a much better matchup. I'm going to go with Rico Dowdle here. However, everybody but me would tell you to play RJ Harvey. So depending on how you feel about me as a human being, how you feel about Roger Goodell up there, the greatest commissioner in pro sports, how you feel about the Shield, how you feel about Groot over here, and a little bit of bourbon, or a pastis de nata from Portugal, as I have featured right behind me. It's weigh all of those versus what every other rational human being would tell you to do. All right, pick one, RJ Harvey or Troy Franklin. I'm going RJ Harvey here. I just can't get behind the inconsistency of the fantasy production for the Denver Broncos passing attack. Mando, man, them early games have never been my friend. Yeah, the early games actually have been awful for me, which really sucks because it's my favorite thing in sports is the early slate, 7 to 9 games, pacing, like squinting, what's going on there. Always my attention is just blasted and I love every second of it. And then the afternoon games come along and it's singularly focused 3 or 4 games here. And every one of them just yanks up the inside of my ass, pulls my liver out and shows me what I'm doing to it. I had Jacobs in 2 leagues and almost swapped out for Monungai, but did not. Would you swap out Diggs for Coker? Full PPR. Yeah. Diggs here. Let's get the Diggs statistics here. A friend of mine recently tweeted something that it summed up the sentiment for this whole Diggs thing. So the last 3 games for Diggs, and you probably know this if you're asking this question, wide receiver 67 against the Bengals, wide receiver 59 against the Giants, wide receiver 69 against the Bills. That's a guy who's washed. That's a washed player. That's a guy who's not very bad, not good. And just to give you the Diggs ranking this week, he's going to be he's way down there. That's what I'm talking about. Wide receiver 55. We did it. We buried Diggs. He can go back to his yacht. He can rip lines of pink Molly and enjoy his pop star wife and his new baby. All right. Would I swap Diggs out for Coker? I probably would. Coker's ranked almost 25 spots ahead of him. They like, 6 projected targets, 4 receptions, 51 yards, and a touchdown is what they like for Coker this week, and it is a nice matchup. So I like all that. Need upside against JSN? Yeah, you do. And Barkley, Dak, or Brissett, Wandale, Troy Franklin, Keenan Allen, half PPR. So we're looking at Jacoby versus Dak. They're pretty close in ranking. QB9 for Jacoby, QB12 for Dak, 18.6 points for Jacoby, 18 for Dak. 14th easiest matchup for Jacoby, 31st most difficult, or second most difficult, I should say, for Dak. So Dak's going to be your floor play. Jacoby's going to be your ceiling. That's basically how you want to go here. You know what I'm not doing this week, especially with these quarterbacks? I'm not doing like, oh, he's going to put it together eventually. Oh, he'll have the big game eventually, because that has been fool's gold this year. All kinds of quarterbacks have not delivered, Dak being one of them. Mahomes was another one. Just couldn't really count on a lot of them. So, yeah, I don't feel terrific about that. I'd go Brissett for ceiling. Also, oh wait, you needed Troy Franklin, Keenan Allen, Wandale. I'm going Keenan Allen there. I like Justin Herbert to pile on. It was the year for Justin Herbert. New girl, new wide receiver, new tight end, new running back, fresh fade, looking good. Pick 2, ETN, JJ, RJ Harvey, Troy Franklin. Pick 2, eh? Pick 2, touch blue, make it true. ETN, JJ. Yeah, I'm going with ETN and JJ there. Feel good about that. Full PPR, looking for a ceiling. Also, I love your name. Sorry, I just want to shout that out real quick. Oh, it's magic. Or it could be something else. If it is, let me know. OG Curdy's back. Full PPR, looking for ceiling plays. Do you guys like when guys are comfortable like this? You guys feel invited? Do you feel like you're in the room with me and we're just talking ball over some coffee? If I look like a douche, let me know and I'll step back up here. I just feel like this is a cool guy look. Full PPR, looking for ceiling plays with this being a total of, oh, I love that. I love the week 16, 17 for crowning champs. That's how it should all be. 2-week playoffs should start week 13 and they should all be 2-week matchups, man. I'm telling you, that's the way to go. That's what you deserve. Nobody deserves to come this far and have Xavier Worthy drop 31 points today with Gardner Minshew and get eliminated from your lineups. Chicanery. All right, sorry, that was my soapbox. Start 2 of the following: Aaron Jones, Xavier Worthy, Michael Carter, Audric Estimate. Gross, I know. Hey, man, it doesn't – everybody's got gross matchups this week. That is disgusting. That's pretty bad. That is like Long John Silver's dumpster disgusting, but I'm in there with you. Trust me. I would go with Aaron Jones has a very nice matchup this week. He's going to be our running back 24. He's the second easiest matchup this week. So fully healthy, should get a full complement of volume. And then let's get the Xavier Worthy projection in here because I really don't want – he has been so bad. Which really sucks. But he has the 6th most easiest matchup. Rashee Rice is out of the lineup. Travis Kelce is mulling retirement. Gardner Minshew is capable. I think they're capable of delivering the ball to Worthy a lot this week. Now, that's not going to be a high ceiling potential, but it could be high floor. So my gut really does say Aaron Jones and Xavier Worthy here. I know Estime is going to get volume, but he's not that capable. Michael Carter is going to get volume, but he's not that capable, and he's going to be in a timeshare. So I just don't expect Kellen Moore offense. Alvin, come on, get me sit up because I do look like a total tool. I do like Alvin Kamara goes down. Okay. Devin Neal comes in, goes down. Okay. Are you telling me that a third guy is going to come in and give you 90% of Devin Neal? I don't know. I am playing him this week, but something is telling me that there could be some like Xavier, that Xavier Worthy game. It's the matchup and it's Rashee Rice being out. That's all it is. It's nothing else. I don't think he's due. I don't think that there's some statistical analysis that could predict this. Specifically, I don't know if I gave you the player profiler rank. He's wide receiver 39, 10 points. So that's my 2 cents on that. Diggs or Booty? Let's go with Booty. Where's Booty ranked this week? Wide receiver 53. He's projected to outscore Diggs by 0.3. So let's go Booty. Thanks, man. How you feeling about Pickens? Worth swapping out for Myers. Pickens is going to give you the ceiling for sure, even if against that matchup. Because Pickens has the same ceiling no matter who he's playing. You know, like whether he's playing Dallas, whether he's playing Denver, whether he's playing the Rams, whether he's playing some other a-hole defense. He always has the same ceiling. But if you need floor, Myers has a way higher floor, especially in full PPR. Need flex 2 and an RB out of these guys: Warren, Gainwell, Michael Carter, Aaron Jones, Keenan Allen, Tony Pollard, full PPR. So you need 2 guys and you need a running back. Let's get did I give you guys a Kenneth Gainwell ranking this week? We've got him pretty decently up there. Benedict Rush's decent is going to be RB 19. So they think he's gonna get a touchdown. They have 8 rushing attempts, 36 rushing yards, 6 targets, 4 receptions, 34 receiving yards. They think he's going to be the say-all, do-all here. So let's get Kenneth Gainwell in there as your running back. And then let's get – where's Tony Pollard? Ooh, tough matchup for Tony Pollard. We don't love that, but Pollard's been doing decent against other tough matchups, and you know the volume's going to be there. So I don't want to double dip with the Steelers. So let's get Aaron Jones in there. Let's get Keenan Allen in there for your flexes. And then let's get I'm trying to think of another British name. If you guys can give me another good spin on Kenneth Gainwell from a British perspective, like a Chadwick runs decent or like a Benedict rushes well, I would love to see that in the chat. And I will tweet the best one later today to my 25,000 Twitter followers. 2-week playoffs is better. Only issue, yeah, I agree with the buys can get you. I'll tell you guys a little something about me right now. I love week 18 finals. The season is chaos all season long. Why not end with just the most frustratingly difficult decisions you could possibly imagine with the most frustratingly difficult players you could imagine? All right. Don't tell anybody I said that. And yes, sit how you want. Talking ball over coffee and love the playoff idea. Chuck leagues. That's right, baby. Chuck leagues. I've got Ozempic leagues. You guys want to be in the Ozempic leagues last year? We had 16 Ozempic leagues this year. And I know what you're wondering. What's an Ozempic league? You draft 21 players, and every single week you have to cut one. And eventually we whittle down. I trim the roster sizes by one every week until eventually you have 4 players left. You get one super flex, and everything else is standard flex or traditional flex. Your lineup is like 11 players. I cut a bench spot every week. And then eventually once we get down to 11, I start trimming the lineups. And so we're having a lot of fun with that this year. We've had to make some brutal cuts. Like this week, I had to decide between Javonte Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, Josh Jacobs, and Trevion Henderson. I had to cut one of those guys. I fucked up and didn't cut the right guy, but that's neither here nor there. All right. Kirk G43. I like that. Start 2, half PPR. Harvey, Judkins, Hamptons. Let's get Judkins and Hampton in the lineup. It's going to be a nice game for Marion Hampton this week, my guys. He's going to be our running back 26, taking on Dallas. 7th easiest matchup. Judkins, RB 15, 4th easiest matchup. RJ Harvey is technically ranked ahead of both of these guys in our matchups, but as you can no doubt tell, I am very low on RJ Harvey this week. How do I feel about the Dolphins this week with the new QB? How do I feel about the Dolphins this week with a new QB? Whoa. Gonna be a no for me, dog. Mortimer enhanced Curl. Yep. Schultz or Ferguson? Ferguson, tight end 15 on the week, 10 full PPR points, the 8th most difficult matchup. Schultz, tight end 9, taking on the Raiders, the 4th most difficult matchup. So both of these guys are projected within a point of each other. I prefer CJ Stroud is dealing, but he's been, oh man. Okay. My gut said Ferguson, but I'm going to change my mind midstream and go with Dalton Schultz. And let's have the Texans actually take the division lead from the Jaguars with a win over the Raiders. Patrick, 544. Patrick, if I'm going to answer this question, I'm going to be back in 1 second right after the break.
Pour one out for an incredible best ball season. It was a breakout 2025 for Fast Draft, but now the NFL action has started. That means it's DFS season. That's right. You might think, oh, well, DFS, I can't win DFS. Oh, but you can on Fast Draft. You just pick any 6 guys and you put them in a handful of booster spots. There's no salary rubric you have to follow. You're not going up against thousands of killer bots in these tournaments. Oh, no. These are regular people grabbing their 6 favorite plays of the week, and that's all you have to do. And we post the ownership so that you can choose how much chalk you want. There is no drafting. It's called the Quick 6 Super Slam. The Quick 6 Super Slam is the signature DFS contest at Fast Draft. It is changing DFS. We are making DFS great again. So go to fastdraft.app and use your host promo code for a $50 deposit match. And let's go start drafting faster.
All right. I got you covered here, my guys. Don't ever worry. I never let one of these comments go by the wayside. Full PPR, you need one, Ibuka, Waddle, or BTJ. Then start May or Brissett. Okay, well, I'm going to go with, oh man, you've got three guys with varying factors here, right? Waddle, great matchup, bad quarterback. Ibuka, decent quarterback who's hurt, decent matchup, but a lot of target competition. And then BTJ, who healthy, good quarterback, brutal matchup. So let's do this. Let's do this here. Let's get to the rankings first, because you're like, what do you, fuck you. What, give me the rankings. Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be our wide receiver 34 this week. Jalen Waddle is going to be our wide receiver 27. And then Emeka Ibuka is going to be our wide receiver 37. So they're telling you to play Waddle. They think that, Quinn Ewers, I believe he completed 5 balls in 2 or 3 series against the Browns. So extrapolate that against the Bengals. What is that? Like 70 completions. So maybe 10 of those go to Waddle and the rest go to some guy you've never heard of. I don't mind playing Waddle there. I'm trying to get out of that matchup if I can, but it does look like the floor is going to be higher than the other two. Brian Thomas Jr. against any cornerback with his size and speed is capable of having a high ceiling. So if you need ceiling, I would go Brian Thomas there, especially if they move him around the formation like they've been doing a decent job of. And then if you need, I'm not playing Ibuka if I have these other two on the table. So if you don't like my analysis, play Ibuka. Jay Lee, 5'8", 4'7". Full PPR, pick 2. One must be a wide receiver. Drake, Sutton, Rico, Genty. Ooh, you're in a tough spot, aren't you, my guy? I'm going to say, let's get the Drake London up there. Drake London is our wide receiver 7 this week, okay? So they don't have him around the Jawan Jennings and the Lad McConkeys and the Jacoby Myers. They have him with the Lambs and the A.J. Browns. We saw how A.J. Brown performed. I like a similar game for London. So let's get Drake London in there, and that's going to be your must wide receiver. And then you're talking about Rico or Genty. This is going to come down to Sutton or Rico. Sutton is projected 13.5 full PPR points. Rico Dowdle is projected 13. So technically Sutton is going to be higher in the rankings. It's a tougher matchup for Sutton than it is for Rico Dowdle. I think I would go Rico Dowdle there for the volume. But if you want to ride this hot streak with Sutton, I don't think that's a bad idea. So let's get Drake London in there, and then Drake London and Rico 1A, Sutton 1B. All right, Ibuka, Marks, or Estime, full PPR. Will Woody Marks break a worldwide sporting record by leaving a 15th consecutive game with an injury? That's what the world needs to know. He's going to be our RB 36 this week, which is wildly low. I'm actually shocked how low that is. 10th easiest matchup. Maybe what Evan is doing there is projecting some Jawan Jordan volume, because Jawan Jordan is our RB 51. Looked great last week. He's ahead of other guys who are, clear backups like Rashad White, like Ty Johnson, Jeremy McNichols, Sean Tucker. So he's pretty bearish on Woody Marks there. And then you compare that to Estime, who's going to be our RB 28. Man, if Woody Marks is playing, I like Woody Marks there, even over Ibuka. So personally, I would go Woody Marks. I think he's looked good. He's just got to stay on the field. But if you're a little hesitant, if he doesn't play, you do think that Jawan Jordan could be a thing, I would go Estime there for the volume. Stick with Dak or get cute with Shuck. Not starting Stafford hurts. Not starting. I didn't start Stafford. I was taught every report before the game was that game was going to be like the interior of the Titanic after it hit the iceberg. So I did play Stafford some places because he's the MVP, but then several other places I was like, well, this could be, he had his worst game of the season was against the Seahawks. It's in Seattle. The weather is supposed to be bad. And I look on the field and it's like the indoor of an athletic facility. There's zero indication of poor weather. And then of course, all that bullshit happened. So I'm with you on that one, man. So you need ceiling. Dak is going to give you the ceiling. Shuck is going to give you the floor. So it's not getting cute going with Shuck. Dak has been pissing me off. Dak is our quarterback 12, the second most difficult matchup of the week, but 25.75 implied points for the Cowboys there. So even though the matchup's difficult, they think this is going to be a big game. Shuck is our quarterback 18, 22.25 implied points for the Saints. The 11th easiest matchup. So Shuck ceiling or Shuck floor, Dak ceiling. All right, I got 3 minutes left here, guys, and then I have to get to our church Christmas service. Let's round these out. Jaked. I like jaked. I've never heard the word jaked before. So is it Jake D or jaked? Either way, my brain just opened up a new sector. Wow, you can really see on TV right now when my brother wrecked me with a Pepsi can back in 2003. Full speed, 22-year-old guy throwing a Pepsi can and a 12-year-old hits me right here, blood everywhere. Still going strong. Sorry, got sidetracked there. New PPR, need to pick 2. Michael Carter, Tetaroa McMillan, RJ Harvey, or Audric Estime. Well, Player Profiler is going to tell you to start McMillan and RJ Harvey. I don't know if I gave you guys the Michael Carter ranking this week. He is RB20 taking on the Falcons. So if you like a decent floor there, they expect it. However, I like the passing game there much more. Yeah, they're going to Player Profiler will tell you to go RJ Harvey, who's RB13, and Tetaroa McMillan, who is going to be our wide receiver 28. I'm going to tell you to go Michael Carter and Tetaroa McMillan. How do you like that? How do you like them apples? What up? Purdy, Lawrence, Knicks. Let's get the in order rankings here. Knicks, QB8, Purdy, QB10, Lawrence, QB22. Difficult matchup for Lawrence. Average matchup for Brock Purdy. Pretty good matchup for Bo Nix. And a lot of that is not necessarily the talent on the Jaguars, but more that the Jaguars have gotten up and early on so many of these teams that they have to pass the ball on them, right? It's like when, it's just classic NFL football like you stuff there. I'll go with Bo Nix, though. I think he's dealing. I think he's hot. Colts defense really came to play against the 49ers, against the Seahawks last week. I think they can do something similar. I still think the 49ers could score 3 touchdowns with 15 minutes left in this game, but that could be Christian McCaffrey, could be Brian Robinson. So I'll ride the Knicks train here. We already covered you, Jake. All right, this might be our last one here. Tank Dell, 182. Tank, I hope you've recovered well. Been a tough year for Tank. All the fractures, got shot. Tough stuff for Tank here, but he is here with us in the chat. Kelsey, Breece Hall, or Worthy, pick one. Ooh. Kelsey is going to be our tight end 14 on the week. Decent matchup against the Titans, 13th easiest, that is. They project 7 targets, 4 receptions, 48 yards, and a potential touchdown. I think Kelsey will give you a high floor. I think Breece Hall will be somewhere in the middle, and Worthy has the ceiling. So it depends on what you need. Do you need floor? Then go Kelsey. Do you need ceiling? Go Worthy. Do you not want to be a part of Gardner Minshew? Go Breece Hall. Country Boy Jazz, 12 minute. Country Boy, that's 2. I have to get out of here, so I will post a start sit thread on Twitter immediately following this. Come find me at Chuck F. Bass on X, and I will get this question answered for you. Vinny, Hampton, Ibuka, or Pittman? We're going Hampton. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for Start Streams. Good luck this week. Make it count. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the pain. You got this. Trust your gut. And, maybe go see a doctor. All right. Good luck. Cheers.